What is going on, you lot? So basically, bit of a different video today. I've had a few requests and I've had a few DMs, messages, etc. about doing a tier list of all the Five Nights at Freddy's characters. And I thought, you know what? I haven't done anything like this before, and I haven't really had any thought about it to do it because, you know, why would I? They all annoy me. But anyway, I thought, you know what? I'll go through this. It's something a bit different, something a bit entertaining, and also I can give myself a clear rating of which animatronic I hate the most and which one I can tolerate the most. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go down the list that you see here at the bottom of my screen, and I'll start off with Freddy Fazbear. Oh, 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 oh. What's my life come to? Anyway, so we're going to go with a Freddy Fazbear. Now, this one could be quite controversial because this is obviously the FNAF 1 Freddy. I think it's got to go S tier, really, because it's the face that runs the place. It's the face that started it all. And how could you not have Freddy Fazbear at the top of the list? So, in my opinion, Freddy has to go S tier. Jump scare, goated. His movement in the first game, goated. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong. So, second of all, we have Bonnie. Now, I don't mind Bonnie. This is obviously the character that scared Scott the most. Scott Cawthon, the creator of the game. Bless up. I don't know why I'm doing bless up. He's still alive. But anyway. Bonnie. Bonnie the Bunny. I don't really think he matches Freddy's aura. He has a great mechanic. He's in the goated game, the game that started it all. It's a tough one, but I think I'm going to have to put him in A, purely because he just doesn't generate the same aura that Freddy does. I think this list is going to be harder than I thought. And you know what? I think Chica belongs exactly right next to him. Basically for the same reason. In the goated game, and it just doesn't generate the same aura that Freddy does. Same thing. Now, Foxy. I could edge a little bit more towards putting in S tier. But the only issue I have is that Foxy has caused me the most deaths in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. This is tough. I think I'm going to have to put Foxy in A as well. He does generate a lot of aura, and when he sings to himself, it's a bit eerie. He's very creepy. I'd say he's probably the scariest out of all of those animatronics, just when he goes dum 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 dum. But he's the most annoying. So I'm going to have to put him in A for this one, and also just the pure fear of when you hear him sprinting down the hallway. Nah, that's enough for me, so going in A. Now, Golden Freddy for me, straight in S tier. And I'll give you for why. I know people will probably say, oh, but he's not even a main animatronic. He appears by luck, etc, etc. But yes, I get that. But if you understand the lore of Golden Freddy, and also the fact that it is just pure fear. If Golden Freddy appears in your room, you're excited because you think, oh, Jesus Christ, I just got a rare Easter egg. But your game's about to crash. And the first time anybody ever saw Golden Freddy appear in their game, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, Golden Freddy's going in S tier for me. Now, Phone Guy. Okay. This is tough because the Phone Guy quotes are so notorious, and there's something special about the phone guy calls in the first game. Like, I could probably recite night 1 to 3 off the back of my head. Like, I could know them word for word. Hello, hello, hello. But he's not an animatronic. He does give us some cool direction of how to go about the night. I think for me, it's tough because I'm so biased to the first game. I'm going to put him in C tier. I'm going to put him in C tier because the calls are great. The calls are really good, and you know, they put you on edge the first time you jump into the game, but realistically, it's just dialogue. It's not an animatronic, it's just dialogue. And in Ultimate Custom Night, Phone Guy becomes a hindrance, because you've got to look around for where to end the call. So I think C tier is, you know, C tier is good enough. Now, Toy Freddy. Now, if we're just talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, then yeah, he's okay. I mean, you know, the first look that we got of Freddy as a toy animatronic, I think it's okay. But doesn't really have any special animations. You just see him move around the cameras, see him down the hallway, then he comes into your office, I believe. Yeah, he does. So I think he's going to go down on C tier with Phone Guy, only purely because he doesn't really have that many special animatronics. I get that he was the face that run the place in the second game, but doesn't really do anything for me. He's just Toy Freddy, you know? Now Toy Bonnie. Where do we go? If it was up to me and there was an E tier or an F tier down here, Toy Bonnie, you'd be going in there purely just because of your RNG. And the utter frustration I have had trying to complete even Night 6 on Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on console. On PC, I've beat it. On PC, you know, I've done my best. But on PlayStation, I'm trying to 100% all the trophies. And Toy Bonnie is the reason I cannot get past Night 6. So for that reason, Toy Bonnie has to go in B tier. Just a little bit above Freddy because he's got a cooler animation. The way he goes around, goes through your left vent or your right vent. But has caused me ridiculous amount of problems on Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, Toy Chica I think belongs with Toy Freddy because isn't as much as a problem as Toy Bonnie is, but can cause some problems in the vent, but she's not so much RNG based. I think it's cool that she removes her beak. If you could please tell us why, Scott, she removes her beak instead of asking us, because we don't know. I think it's cool that she removes her beak, and there's a bit of a story behind it, a bit of a question that no one really knows why. But anyway, I think she belongs there on C tier with Toy Freddy. Now Mangle. Mangle's quite cool because Mangle has the audio distortion. Makes it a bit easier to know when Mangle is in the vent. Because you can hear the noise in the vent to your right. I think, once again, belongs down. Now, you know what? Goes B tier. Goes B tier with Bonnie because she takes the same route as Toy Bonnie, but doesn't cause as many problems. And you also, I just think it's quite cool that she crawls on the ceiling and her jump scare, or his, don't kill me. I think the jump scare is quite cool because it kind of alluded to the bite of 87, but didn't really give anybody any definitive answers. So I like that. Balloon Boy, you're going in D tier, mate. You can do one, if I'm quite honest with you. The amount of times you've blocked my vent, I've pressed the wrong button, I've pulled the camera up instead of pulling the mask down. You're going in D tier, enough said. And I think, you know what, JJ could probably go there as well. Because JJ doesn't really do anything. In Ultimate Custom Night, causes you a couple of problems, but nothing too serious. And in FNAF 2, you just see her eyes perving on you under the desk. So, yeah, you can stay there. Now, Marionette, or the puppet. If we're talking lore-wise, S tier. But if we're just talking Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and jump scares and whatever, then I'm going to go A tier for Marionette, because synonymous with FNAF 2 and ended up becoming a massive part of the rest of the story. No one can beat that lullaby that plays on the music box. The I don't even know the word. I don't even know. Just the way you have to control Marionette, one in the music box, and if it runs out, you're dead. There's no way of stopping the puppet. So you know what? For me, puppet goes A tier. Withered Freddy, yeah, probably belongs C tier. I'll probably do the same for all the Withereds. Nothing really too special. They just sort of move around the cameras and appear in your office. So to get through them quite quickly, I will put all Withered Freddy, Bonnie and Chica in C tier. Because to me, they're alright, they're there, but it is what it is, you know? Now, Cupcake, D tier. Cupcake doesn't really do anything. Just sort of sits in your office and stares at you. You know, it's quite cool that Chica holds her around, and in FNAF 4, causes you a few more problems. But I think, yeah, D tier for the Cupcake. Doesn't really do anything, does it? Now, for me, I would say Withered Foxy goes in B tier. Night Guard, I'm going to kick your ass. Now, anyway, With Withered Foxy, bit more synonymous with FNAF 2, is a massive, massive problem causer where obviously you have to flash the lights and keep him at bay with the flashlight in FNAF 2. It causes you many problems. If you stay looking away from him for too long, you're dead. So I think I'll leave that in B tier. I would have gone A tier, but he has caused me nearly as many problems as Toy Bonnie has. So I think that's perfect. Now, Withered Golden Freddy. Obviously talking about the lore, doesn't belong in S tier. Can't really say A tier. It was quite cool that Withered Golden Freddy ended up in FNAF 2. Doesn't really have the same aura as Golden Freddy from FNAF 1, because with this one you can get rid of him, you know, pulling down your mask, and you can get rid of FNAF 1 Golden Freddy just by pulling up your camera, get rid of him. But I think for now we will leave Withered Golden Freddy in B tier. Now, don't get me wrong, these lists can change. If I have a thought come in my head and I want to change it, I'll change it. So, Shadow Freddy. Shadow Freddy for me, C tier. Doesn't really do anything, just catch him in the camera, but I think it's quite cool because he's quite creepy. So, yeah, we'll keep him there. Now, Shadow Bonnie, I think does belong a little bit higher than Shadow Freddy, because with Shadow Bonnie, he can appear in your office, crash your game. I'm not even going to try and remember or pronounce the actual name for Shadow Bonnie because Scott just mashed his keyboard up. So, I think that's quite cool, and the probability of actually finding Shadow Bonnie is really cool. So we'll leave that at B tier along with Toy Bonnie. You know, same figure, except one of them is a lot more annoying. But anyway, and then we'll go for Endo. I believe this is Endo 02. Can appear in your event, can appear in front of the puppet box, I believe. But I'll also put that in D tier because, once again, doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to leave that there. Now, Springtrap. Shoot me. Shoot me dead if you're not putting him in S tier. Springtrap, the only animatronic that can kill you in FNAF 3, is literally William Afton, the guy that caused all of these. If it wasn't for William Afton, we wouldn't have any of these animatronics to tier. It would just be William Afton, wouldn't it? So, Springtrap, the story, the animations, people slate the jump scare. I love the jump scare for Springtrap. I think FNAF 3 is looked down on, to be honest. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a great game. People find it a bit too easy. So what? I think the atmosphere, the layout, the mechanics, great game. So Springtrap for me is going in S tier. Now, I'm going to put all the Withereds... no, not all the Withereds. I'm going to put all the Phantoms in the same category because they all do the same thing, really. You know, Phantom Balloon Boy appears in your camera. Phantom Freddy walks past your office. Phantom Watermelon appears in one of the cameras. Foxy appears in front of you and leaps at you, same as Withered Foxy. Mangle just causes you a bunch of noise problems, and Puppet just sort of gets in your face, asking for a smooch. So I'm going to put all of them in the same category, and I think for me, B tier. You know, you can disagree with this tier list if you want to. Everyone's got their own opinions, I suppose. But this is my opinion, and that's that. Now we're on to FNAF 4. Now, people are going to say this is controversial. I'm actually going to put Nightmare Freddy at C tier, because I'll be honest, he's not really that much of a threat. It's more the Freddles that cause you problems, and then Freddy just comes out of nowhere. So basically they're warning him. But I didn't really face Nightmare Freddy that much. I don't really feel like he was the face of FNAF 4, if you know what I mean. And I'll also do the same with the Freddles. They just sort of appear on the bed behind you, make some weird noises, and then make Freddy come after you. So I'll put them two at the same. With Nightmare Bonnie and Chica, I will put them both at B tier. Purely because they're more involved in the game. They appear at the door. You have to listen out for the breathing. It is spooky as all hell, and I don't care how many times you play Five Nights at Freddy's 4. If you get jump scared, you are cleaning up your pants afterwards, really, aren't you? So I'll put them two at B tier. Foxy probably belongs at the same. I would say that Foxy's a great mechanic. Has also caused me a lot of problems in FNAF 4. Just as soon as you see the closet door move, you know you're in trouble. But Yeah, I'd say he belongs there with. He belongs there with Bonnie and Chica. Now, Nightmare Fredbear, A tier. Great. Nightmare Fredbear. When Night 5 started and there was no multiple footsteps going around and you'd go to each door and no one was there, you couldn't hear Foxy running from side to side. You think, what the hell is going on? And then everyone gets Nightmare Fredbear and it's basically Nightmare Golden Freddy. And you think, what the hell is going on here? And also the story behind Nightmare Fredbear. And also I like the fact that he just gets one night. He gets that night 5 nights at Freddy's. And he's the only animatronic you got to face. A tier for me. Now, Nightmare himself, C tier. Because kind of the same mechanics as Nightmare Fredbear. Just a little bit more aggressive. And gives you a little bit more jip. But I don't really feel like he generates as much aura as Fredbear. So I'll leave him in C tier. Plush Trap. I liked Fun with Plush Trap. I like Fun with Plush Trap. That was a good mini game. And I like the fact that it gives you 2 hours off your night. Even though you get 2 hours off your night, you're guaranteed to die that night. That's just the way it worked for some reason. So I'm going to put him at C tier as well. Going into the Halloween edition for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, I'm probably going to put them all at D tier. Because apart from Night Marion, I'll leave you alone. I'll put them all at D tier and I'll give you my reason for why. Purely because with the Jacko animatronics, Nightmare Mangle and Nightmare BB, I didn't really play the Halloween edition that much, especially when it came out. I played it like years after, when I was just wanting to go through the games and see what their mechanics were. The mechanics were quite cool. Nightmare Mangle caused you a lot of problems when he got in the closet and all you could hear was Nightmare Mangle. That caused a problem because obviously you need to hear out for the other animatronics. But other than that, yeah, don't really do anything for me. But Night Marion I will put in B tier. Now I'll give you my reason for why. I understand it was the same mechanics as Nightmare, which I put in C tier. But look at him. Look at Night Marion. You're telling me that that isn't Nightmare Fuel? I'll leave him there. Thank you very much. Now, Baby. You're going to hate me. Baby, S tier. The face of Sister Location. Sister Location, the game that threw the franchise off, changed everything about this franchise. S tier. And also, William Afton's daughter. Going in S tier. Ballora. Now, Ballora. B tier. I'll say B tier purely because... No, you know what? Ballora's going in A tier for me. A tier. I love Ballora's mission where you have to crawl through on your hands and knees. I liked the song she sings, the dance she does, the atmosphere of the room. I mean, I think that's like night 2. The atmosphere of the room with Ballora when you're walking through. You don't really know what's dancing around you, but you know she's there. And also the song she sings. Why do you hide inside your walls? Cinema. Now, Freddy, Freddy, I reckon Funtime Freddy can go in A tier along with Bon Bon. I don't think Bon Bon's on here, so we'll put them as both, so Bon Bon and Funtime Freddy. The voice actor, Kellen, for Funtime Freddy was great. I think his mission, if you will, his night was really fun, quite infuriating, but I just feel like everything about Sister Location was so good. But Funtime Foxy on the other hand can go into B tier with Mangle, because obviously Funtime Foxy basically becomes Mangle, if you will. Yeah, mission is good. Obviously we have to flash your beacon, and if Funtime Foxy's there, don't move. But doesn't really do anything special for me, but I do like the design and the idea behind Funtime Foxy, so Funtime Foxy can go there. Now, Lolbit appears randomly on Funtime Foxy's night sometimes, and obviously you have to type LOL on night on that secret Ennard night. Doesn't really do anything special for me, just sort of like a fun Easter egg, if you will, and a little bit of a comedy sketch with the LOL, because obviously it was called Lolbit. So, and I think the same thing goes for Yendo, because Yendo just sort of appears randomly, I think, on the same night. I think Yendo can appear in that room as well. I think it's actually on night 5 when you go to repair Baby or take the keycard from Baby. So Yendo can go into D tier, doesn't really do anything special, just sort of flashes on the screen. I think I got it on like Sister Location Mobile once, but you don't really see him. Hand Unit. I'll put Hand Unit in C tier. I know it's not an animatronic, but Hand Unit, that is the voice of Sister Location. That is the voice that guides you through Sister Location. Eggs Benedict, exotic butters. That is just perfect for the voice of Sister Location to introduce voice actors apart from Scott himself. Perfect, but because it's not an animatronic, I can't really put it any higher than that, so it's got to go in C tier. Biddy Bab, Night 1 of Sister Location. Yeah, I'll put it in C tier, and I'll probably do the same with the mini arenas, purely because of the custom night of Sister Location. They can cause you some problems. Obviously, the mini arenas get in your face and don't leave you alone, and Biddy Bab, I think, crawls through the vent in front of you. So they've got quite cool mechanics, but don't really do anything for me because you don't really see them that much. Ennard is A tier. I would go S tier. I would, but it's not really notorious. I mean, it's very recognisable and, you know, high up on the list, and it's the reason that Michael Afton spewed his guts out. But I think iconic for the series, definitely at the top, not just there, but close. So Ennard can go in A tier. Bonnet, C tier. Now, Bonnet has caused me some problems. Bonnet has caused me some problems. You know what? I'll leave Bonnet in C tier because she's good in the custom night for Sister Location. Does well. Crawls across your screen. But also playing that on PlayStation. How many times do we have to say cursors do not belong with analog sticks? And that is the reason why. Bonnet is the reason why you do not put cursors with analog sticks, especially with PlayStation when you get stick drift. I cannot beat custom night on Sister Location because of Bonnet and cursors with analog sticks. Enough said. C tier. Scrap Baby. I'll put the Scrap animatronics in B tier, purely because notorious for FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator, but I just don't think they're anything above B tier. They've got cool voice lines and they do your head in during the night. But yeah, and I think people are going to get annoyed about this. Scrap Trap belongs in A tier. It's Springtrap. Come on, guys. I wouldn't say it's S tier. I wouldn't say it's S tier. That's coming up next. I wouldn't say it's S tier, but it's still Springtrap, and I always come back. That's when the voice line was introduced. So how can you not put that at A tier? So, Lefty. Lefty. Probably belongs in A with... Scrap Trap. Purely because it's got the puppet inside, and it took a lot of Easter eggs and theorizing to realize that was... There's like an analogy for it. You know, Lefty's thing. If someone can remember it, stick it in the comments below. But, you know, that's the puppet at the end of the day. It's puppet. And also, just thinking that puppet, actually, I'm going to move to S tier. Because that's the puppet. That is the puppet. And the mechanics for the puppet, amazing. Yeah, I'm changing that around. Anyway. Helpy. Probably C tier. Doesn't really do much. Just sort of guides you through FNAF 6, I guess. But still doesn't really do much. So I'll leave him there. Trash and the Gang, D tier. They're quite cool to have around in Ultimate Custom Night. They just blurt you in the face or whatever. But yeah, that's about it. Now, these animatronics, forgot what they're called. Obviously, you've got Happy Frog, Mr. Hippo, Pig Patch, Ned, and Orville. I'm probably going to put them in C tier. Shoot me if I'm wrong, but you know, in FNAF 6 they're just stage animatronics. They're just part of the tycoon, aren't they? So don't really do anything for me. Yeah, I mean, in Ultimate Custom Night they're a big deal, but If I'm going just by the game order, FNAF 6, that'll do. Now, what's his name? Candy Cadet, that's the one. I'm going to put him in C tier as well. Purely because I love the stories, and I love, you know, the meaning of the stories every time you put a token in. Candy, candy, candy. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Got the name of this one. King something, I guess. D tier, it's just an ornament for the tycoon. Can stay there, really. Rockstar Freddy, Rockstar Bonnie, Rockstar Chica, and Rockstar Foxy can probably all go in C tier as well, because they're just part of the tycoon. They don't really do anything until Ultimate Custom Night. Same goes for DJ Music Man, Ned Bear, Funtime Chica. Don't really do anything for me, and I'm just going by FNAF 6. If we're talking Ultimate Custom Night, there's probably a bit of changes there. There's a few changes in the list, but if I'm going just by FNAF 6, they're just part of the tycoon, really, aren't they? Now, how unfortunate. DD. D tier. DD for D tier. Annoying as all hell. I'm trying to do some challenges on Ultimate Custom Night. I'm trying to, you know, get through my night, think, oh, you know what, I'm trying to learn the animatronics, and DD comes in and throws the whole thing off, and I don't even know what animatronics she's put in. So, stay at D tier. Now, I'm going to call it Shadow D tier, at DD, because I don't know the name. Help me out a bit. Yeah, you know, same premise, 50-20 mode. This guy comes in and starts adding random animatronics to your night. D tier, why not? Old Man Consequences, probably D tier as well. You know, you just have to press C to get rid of him. I do like the cutscene if you put him on 1 and then do it. I do like the cutscene for that, purely because of just the screaming that William Afton does when he goes into the lake. I do like it. Probably C tier, actually. I like Old Man Consequences. Now we've got a Fredbear here. If we're just talking about Fredbear from Fredbear's Family Diner, I'm probably have to put him at A tier along with Spring Bonnie, because if we're talking about Fredbear's Family Diner, realistically, that's what sorted it all. That's what started it all. And I know that there's not a Fredbear Family Diners game. Scott, if we could get one, please, that would be fantastic. But in the style of the old Five Nights at Freddy's games, if you don't mind, I'll put them to A tier. They started it all off. Glitch Trap, S tier. Don't care. S tier for Glitch Trap, without a shadow of a doubt. The face of Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, and also the face of what started the new era of Five Nights at Freddy's. Help Wanted was the start of the new era. Ultimate Custom Night finished off the original story of the original 5 murders. Glitch Trap brought us into the new era, and I remember the first time I was on VR and I turned round and I saw Glitch Trap stood there waving at me. S tier for me, without a doubt. The Blob, B tier. I like the idea of the Blob, and when you go down the elevator in Security Breach, and the Blob's just sitting there making weird noises, and it's got all the faces of old animatronics in it, and I think it's basically Ennard, if I'm not wrong. I think it's basically Ennard, but I also like that the Blob gets involved in the final boss fight against Burn Trap. Now, Burn Trap belongs on B tier as well. The surprise that Springtrap was still alive after FNAF 6. And I know people are saying that it's the Mimic or it's the AI from Glitch Trap, blah, 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 blah. Burn Trap was in Security Breach. The fact that William Afton still always comes back, even in games like Security Breach, where the game was so big, it's got to stay there. Now, Moon, probably the same. B tier along with Sun. I loved how creepy Moon was. Naughty, naughty, it's past your bedtime. What is wrong with me? Anyway, and also the same with Sun. I liked how excited the Sun could be when he comes to see you, and then you turn the lights off, falls off the desk, comes back up as Moon. Great, but not the best. I would say B tier. Now, as Dorco calls it, Pat pat. The wet floor sign. If you know, you know. I'm gonna say D tier for Dorco. D for Dorco. Doesn't really do anything. I mean, obviously they do unveil a interesting Easter egg in Security Breach. If you go around and disable them all, you can go into the Bonnie Bowl and find Glamrock Bonnie destroyed on the floor. But not really an animatronic, doesn't cause any disturbances. Now we're getting onto the bots. Now I'm going to call him Mopbot because I can't remember all of their names. Like Cleaner Bot, I guess. C tier. I'm only saying C tiers because I know they can't kill you, but they're an alert. So they will just alert all the other animatronics around you, and they are so infuriating. But not only with the bots, if you come near them and you don't realise you're near them, holy hell, jump scare. That, I swear to God, the bot jump scared me more than anything in that game. So for that, I'll give it C tier. Map bot, same thing. You open up an elevator, you come out of an elevator, boom, take this map. This map, take this map. Scared the unholy hell out of me. Goes into C tier along with the Cleaner Bot. DJ Music Man. DJ Music Man. Has quite a cool part in the game. I do like when he starts coming out of all the tunnels and starts chasing Gregory. But I'll probably put DJ Music Man in B tier. I think he's done, he's quite cool as well. He's got quite a cool jump scare. I'll shove him in B tier. Mini Music Man, I suppose, the one that follows you in the vents. I'll put that in C tier, D tier. Only follows you in the vents really, and I think there's a part in Ruin where they all sort of chase you at the same time. But realistically, it's just a reskin Music Man, just a small version of it, isn't it? So I'll leave that there. Now, what's this? A Glamrock Endoskeleton. Oh, this is the ones you have to take the pictures of. It's like the Weeping Angel part of the game, right? C tier, B tier, B tier. I'll say B tier because that is terrifying. When you walk into a room and there's a bunch of them staring at you, you know you're in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. So yeah, I'll leave them now. I'll leave them there for now. Okay, so the puppet that's in the FNAF 6 minigame, I will put C tier as well. Because with that puppet, it gives you the whole story of who the puppet is possessed by. So for that, it belongs in B tier. Because it gives you the whole story of who possesses the puppet. It gives you the story of the minigame all the way back in FNAF 2. When Charlotte got killed by William Afton. And no one knew who ended up possessing the puppet. And we all found out from this minigame that Henry's daughter Charlotte gets killed by William Afton and gets possessed by... No, and then possesses the puppet. So for that, B tier, 100%. These are like the rotten cleaner bots, or like the helper bots, aren't they? So D tier. Didn't really do anything for me. They were sort of like in the cutscene of Help Wanted 2 when it's like an ending for the game. They all come after you and something happens or whatever. And then you got another one of those bots, D tier. They just sort of search around for you. They got their flashlights, haven't they? But they're easier to avoid, I believe, than the cleaner bots. I think these security bots, you know, you see them going left and right. If they do catch you, it scares the absolute life out of you. But there you go. Glamrock Chica, A tier. Without a doubt, I would say A tier for Glamrock Chica because I believe it's just where she belongs. She was quite a big part of Security Breach. Probably one of my favourite animatronics in Security Breach. Had some good chase scenes, good boss fight. Yeah, B tier. A tier, sorry. I will put Glamrock Bonnie probably in D tier because he's just laying on the floor, demolished, really. And it brings out a cool story that Monty possibly destroyed him because he wanted to take his position. So we will leave that at D tier because he doesn't really do anything. It's just a cool Easter egg, isn't it? Glamrock Freddy, S tier. Well done, superstar. Of course he belongs in S tier. He's the face of Help Wanted. He literally guides you around the whole game. He protects you. If he's being possessed by Burn Trap, then not so much. And I think if he runs low on power, he could probably jump scare you as well. I'm not actually sure. But either way, I'd say he belongs in... He definitely belongs in... He definitely belongs in S tier for me for that game. Monty, A tier, along with Chica, I would say. Great boss fight. Great chase scenes. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's fine. And same with Roxanne. Roxanne obviously plays a massive part in Ruin, where she's helping. Now, who do you play as in Ruin? Who do you play as in Ruin? My memory is so gone. I've been doing this for so long. My memory is fried. Ugh. Either way, she helps you in Security Breach Ruin, and yeah, good. I think she's good. Vanny, I'm going to put her in B tier for now. I'm going to put her in B tier for now because I think she was underutilized in Security Breach. I think she was really underutilized. Not enough chase scenes, not enough jump scares. I'm hoping, I'm praying they do something big with her in Security Breach 2. And judging by this poster, I can imagine she's coming back with a vengeance. I don't know how, but she is. Vanessa, C tier, sort of catches you twice, and no chase scenes. You don't really know what she's doing there or what she wants with you. She's just sort of there. So, yeah, I'll leave that at that. Gregory, for me, A tier. Character you play as in Security Breach. You spend a lot of time as Gregory. You find out a lot about his story. He's a good fighter. You know, he literally took on, what, 4-5 animatronics. Gregory's going A tier for me. Purple guy, S tier. Purple guy, S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. It's William Afton. What are you talking about? Of course he belongs in S tier. I don't really know what's going on with this purple guy here, so I'm going to leave him. So you've got the bully of the crying child. Gives out quite a cool cutscene. Probably D tier though. Couple of good jump scares from the mini games, but other than that, not a lot. Now, what people to believe to be Michael Afton? B tier. I like the cutscenes. I like the way that he trots home from work every day and slowly starts to turn purple. So I believe he belongs in B tier for me. Now, the crying child, it's got to go A tier. Person you play as in FNAF 4, it blew open massive plots for the story. Who is the crying child? Are we playing as the crying child? What's in the box? Why can the crying child speak to the plush Fredbear? Like, why? What? All that sort of stuff. Gotta go A tier. The same with Charlotte Emily. Goes right next to the crying child. Both killed by something to do with William Afton. Obviously, Charlotte was killed by him himself, and the crying child was crushed by Fredbear. So we will leave that at that. Nightmare Cupcake. Where did I put Nightmare Chica? I believe probably belongs with Nightmare Chica, because Nightmare Cupcake is just a part of Nightmare Chica's death animation. And you know what? I'm going to leave the... Ooh, this is Henry. This is Henry. I'll put Henry at A. Not quite on the level as Purple Guy, but it's still a massive, 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 massive part of why all of this is what it is today. Now, I'm going to leave those ones at the bottom because these two are from the movie and this is just a random Purple Guy image. So, I think we will leave that there. I think I've actually got quite a good tier list here. I think I've actually done quite well. I think I've smashed that. If you disagree with any of my tiers, that is fair enough. And if you think there's any adjustments that could be made, stick them down in the comments. But to me, I think that looks like quite a good tier. Anyway, I just did this for a bit of fun, saw it online, and a couple of people messaged me about it, telling me I should do a tier list of all the Five Nights at Freddy's characters. Now, I know we don't have Secret of the Mimic, but realistically, it's just the Mimic. So I think if I'm going to do anything, I'll just put the Mimic here. I'll just place a Mimic of S tier because it's the face of everything pretty much. goes back to 1979, I think. Secret of the Mimic. So I'd put Secret of the Mimic here. I'd put the Mimic here because realistically it's just using different costumes throughout the game, isn't he? So we'll stick the Mimic there. But other than that, that is my tier. If you like this video, give us a shout in the comment. If you want me to do a tier list of anything else, please let me know. Just stick all your ideas and suggestions in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and peace.
Hey Barbie, let's go party. 5-star meal with a side of calamari. I drive Beamers and wear Armani. She like wine, red like Ferrari.
Tell me